Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the NBA bit. Hope everybody had a nice little evening yesterday on Tuesday. I'm really feeling for you East Coast folk at this point, myself included. I like you can't. It's I'm staying up too late. I'm staying up too late, but still getting up at the same time. And by Wednesday of every playoff week, my body slowly starts to deteriorate, but at least we're getting good games. Also, I feel like we're in for it again tonight. With the late game being the one that I'm going to be the most excited about with Rockets and Warriors. It was the same case last night with Lakers and Timberwolves. So I apologize for the gravel between in the voice between that and the weather change here in the Northeast. We got them sweet allergies cooking. But we're battling the elements. All right, he persisted. Who do we got in the chitty chat this morning? Yeah, happy National Lost Dog Awareness Day. Thank you, Snoopaloop. We got some smoke, some. Yep, RIP to the Grizz. Common Man's here. Andor's back. Shout out to you, Disney freaks. All right, Manigato. DJ P's here. Stubbs, good morning. Good to see Stubbs. This is what we got going on. This is what we got cooking for you today. All right. We got the NBA bit. You already made it. At 3 p.m. over on our fantasy channel. We'll be talking about SORARE NBA stuff to get you ready for tonight and tomorrow's slate. We got some Splash Sports contest cooking for tonight. Also, speaking of our guy Stubbs, we have this the single entry Stubbs Invitational tonight in his honor. So a little $10 single entry if you want to mess around with that. So go check that out. And then the NBA bit again. We'll be back tomorrow and on Friday. We'll have some baseball content tomorrow. Some more fantasy basketball content on Friday. So we got everything. We're cooking. We should have the Cavs at some point this week, too. I got to talk to the fellows. But yeah, and if you're watching over on the Twitters, come on over to the YouTubes, and yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it. JJ Redick, I love this energy, man. I don't know if you guys saw the clip last night. JJ Redick just screaming at his boys. Actually, why don't we just share screen, even though maybe this gets rid of our monetization right off the bat because there's going to be some effy bombies. But let's share screen just so we can let's all bring the energy of JJ Redick to the workplace today. So here we go. Let's turn our headphones up. Let's see what we got cooking here. All right, let's go. Just incredible. JJ Redick, you could tell JJ's a parent. That's like some parent energy. Just calling timeout, immediately screaming at everybody. I love it. And clearly it worked. I thought Anthony Edwards' comments after the game were pretty interesting. Just being like, "Hey, they're throwing some zone at us, and I don't know what to do with it." Essentially, is what he was saying. And then I saw Steve Jones Jr. on Twitter too, or X, excuse me, you freaks, mentioning to that they were doing the same type of defense, but just masking it, making it look a little bit different each and every time. And clearly that stunted the growth of the offense last night. The Lakers, though, get a big W, 94-85. The offense of Minnesota, right? We were talking about how they went 21 for 42 from three in game one. Well, game two, they were 5 for 25. 5 for 25. Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo. I don't know if Adam Silver made the call or what. A lot of foul trouble early on. Naz and Dante both early into the second quarter, I believe, had 3 fouls. You see Dante finished the game with 4. Naz finished it with 4. But the bench points just were MIA here. So they had a total of 19 bench points. You got 9 from Naz Reid, 4 from Dante, 4 from Na. We even saw Terrence Shannon Jr. minutes. He had 2. And then DNPs from all the other fellows. Julius Randle had a some semi-efficient game, right? 9 for 17 from the field, finished with 27 and 6. Ant-Man had 25, but those were the only 2 guys in double figures for the Timberwolves last night. And I'm not a data analytics dude. That feels like not enough. You got 8 points from Jaden McDaniels again, who was 3 for 3 from 3 in the first game, 3 for 11 from the field total last night. Rudy Gobert, man, this was Luka. If you go back to the Dallas Mavericks game where they hosted the Lakers and they show the video and Luke is crying on the bench and it's emotional and Nico's getting booed and fire Nico chants. And then they talked to Luka, and they're like, "What was the best part about that video?" And he was like, "Brother, it was when I was cooking Rudy Gobert." And we saw more of that last night, where the Lakers were just going out of their way to do whatever they could to get Luka on to Rudy, and then Luka would cook Rudy. And it happened time and time again. Lakers, some stats here for you. Luka finished with 31, 12, and 9. One of the things we pointed out after game one was the lack of assists. Like, Luka started that game scoring 14 of the Lakers' first 20 points, but it ended with just one dime. And last night had 9, so the offense was getting a little bit more into the swing of things. Only 2 for 8 from 3 from Luka. LeBron didn't have a great shooting night, 1 for 5 from 3, but man, Luka, LeBron. LeBron, I don't know, what stuff he was getting over in Germany, if he was getting the Kobe Pedialyte, and by Pedialyte I mean PED treatment, where he was out there just running around like a crazy man. My guy is 40 and he was playing with the tenacity and intensity of a 19-year-old. Finished with 21, 11, and 7. Austin Reeves, too, as pointed out in the chat, went out there and cooked some Rudy as well. He also put some Rudy steak on the grill. He had 16, 5, and 5. Lakers, if you just looked at the Lakers box score and saw that they scored 94 points, you probably would have been like, that's an L. That's an L. But again, holding the Timberwolves to 85 points, really impressive defensive performance. Common Man in the chat saying, if you're starting Conley and Gobert, you need your bench to bring it every night. Regulators said this style of play seems like it will eventually wear down the Lakers. Yeah, I guess I'm of two thoughts of it. Minnesota was almost like the Orlando offense last night, right? Where it was like all of the points came from 2 guys. And if nobody else is going to step up, then it's curtains. Now, for Minnesota, their job was already done. They needed to get one of the first 2 games to steal home court advantage, to then go back back home. And then you hope some of your role players are going to step up. It's funny, like we knew they weren't going to shoot 21 for 42 from 3 again. Yeah, they're not going to go 50%. But they're also not going to go 5 for 25 again from 3. One thing I wanted to point out, too, I watched while I was on my Kyle Kuzma yesterday getting a workout in. I was listening to the Mind the Game podcast. I don't know if you've heard of the hosts, LeBron James and Steven Nash. They were talking about just like the approach to a playoff series. And I'll be honest, a lot of it was a little bit surface level, but it was a reminder where LeBron was like, you really do have to feel out your opponents a little bit. And that is kind of what we saw, at least from the defensive side of things, from the Lakers. They seem to have a better understanding and the adjustments that needed to be made. And now it's on Minnesota and Chris Finch and his coaching staff to see if they can make the necessary adjustments, at least on the offensive side, right? Now they've seen this zone that they've thrown at him a couple of times. We've seen Ant talk about it in the past. Like, how do you handle these double teams moving forward? And so we'll have to see. Yeah, and regular saying Rudy was still the second best plus minus. Yeah. I think LeBron's role moving forward is pretty interesting too. Like, it was clearly, when AD arrived, we're like, well, at least good news here. Good news. LeBron doesn't have to be the 101 anymore, right? AD can take over. And that never really happened. I think that has to do more like that speaks more positionally than anything else. I think it's hard to be like the singular creator of a team when you're a big guy, unless your name is Nikola Jokic. But it was kind of fun seeing him just being like, all right, listen, the ball, I am not making every decision on the offensive end. So how can I impact the game? Of course, he's still at a 21-11-7 line. That's not bad. But you saw him put more energy into the defensive end and just kind of, I'm going to outwork and outwill all of you. And I thought that was pretty impressive. Regular said, at least I'll be able to go to bed before midnight tonight. You think so? You don't think you're going to be watching Rockets Warriors? Or does that game start at 9? Is that what you're saying? Anyways, good win. I love this series. I think this is going to be fun. It is kind of funny, normally when a new coach or a coach is in his first playoff run, there's a lot of confusion about inexperience, or not a conversation about inexperience as a head coach. Missoula dealt with that a lot. It kind of feels like JJ is a seasoned coach, doesn't it? And maybe it's just because he's seasoned in how he talks to the media, because he was a member of the media. But it seems like he's got a good handle on the locker room. I don't know. There's just good dialogue. Now maybe they go down 3-1 and it's a different conversation. But he does seem to like the inexperience doesn't seem to be rearing its ugly head or anything like that. I just thought I don't know. Just wanted to point that out. Shout out JJ. I'm a JJ stan. I can't help it. When's game 3 here? When do we have game 3? Is it is that Saturday as well? Or no, it's probably Friday night, right? Friday night. Let's see. What is the next Lakers game is Friday at 9:30. So they have a couple days off here to rest and get over to Minneapolis or St. Paul, whatever it was. Wow, regulator. Okay. We on Stat Muse this morning. He says 75% of teams who win the first quarter win the game. FWIW. Is that just this season or in postseason history? Just to point out the Lakers defense one more time. I mean, they got up 19 in the first quarter. Ends up being a 9-point game, but they just kind of cruise control after that. The highest scoring quarter the Timberwolves had was 28 in the second. Outside of that, they held them to 15, 22, and 20. So again, an impressive performance from the Lakers defense. I don't think this is we're not going to see Minnesota shoot this poorly again. They might not shoot 50% again, but at some point they have to have a median performance, right? At some point. All right, but good win for the Lakers. Let's switch gears here a little bit. Let's talk about the Indiana Pacers, the return of Dame time. I got to tell you, I love this rivalry of Damian Lillard and Tyrese Halliburton. We're going to talk about the athletic polls that came out yesterday. I thought it was they said Tyrese Halliburton was voted anonymously the most overrated player in the league. And why is that? Why is that on the poll? Why are we doing that? This is like high school superlatives if we were dickheads. Just a weird flex there to be like, hey, who do you hate the most? So I thought Halliburton, after being voted anonymously by his peers as the most overrated player in the league, was arguably the best player on the court last night. Hallie was good, was cooking around, was cooking, dancing, jumping, skipping. He was doing everything he wanted to. But again, this rivalry of Dame and Hallie's kind of fun. Seems like Hallie has the upper hand. This game was never like really in question, in my opinion. I know it was an 8-point finale here, 123-115. But you see the Pacers get up 10 at half. 10 after the first, 8 at half, and then 12 at the end of the third. And then it ends up being an 8-point game. It's Giannis and nobody else, right? 34 points, 18 boards, 7 dimes. I was very interested in Damian Lillard's line. And how many minutes he was going to play. And clearly not 100%, right? 2 for 8 from 3, 4 for 13 from the field, finished the game with 14 and 7. I mean, if you're Milwaukee, you're like, listen, we're going home. At least, we're coached by Doc Rivers. At least we're not up 3-1. So you got that going for you, right? But this is just, Dame is not going to be 100%. He's just not. He's not going to, it's impressive and honestly miraculous that he's back playing this soon after a freaking blood clot, right? And still somehow he is out there, but he's not going to be 100%. And this is the same issue why I had a tough time with anybody picking the Bucks in this first round. I know we don't like to put any respect on how Indiana is playing, but they are way more physical than they get credit for. They still have a run and gun fast offense, but they now actually play a little bit of defense, which they didn't do last year. And I don't know if people have caught up on that yet. And again, you look at Milwaukee, man, it's freaking Giannis, Dame, Brook Lopez, Kyle Kuzma, and Taurean Prince. It's like the AARP starting 5 outside of the Kuz, who might as well be 55 the way that he's playing. And so you look at the other starters out, not named Giannis and Dame, they got a combined 26 points, right? Kuz had 12 and 3 in his 31 minutes. You had Taurean Prince was 6 and 4. And Brolo had 8. Now, Bobby Lobby Hive, Bobby Portis had 28 and 12. That was a really good performance from him. And then outside of that, 13 bench points, right? You had Gary Trent Jr. not do anything in his minutes. Kevin Porter Jr., 9 and 3. Again, like Jericho Sims played minutes last night. This Bucks team is not a serious team. They don't have a serious roster construction. And outside of Giannis, we're talking about Paolo and Franz. Giannis and Dame have to be like the steroid version of the Paolo and Franz combination, where they have to combine for like 95 points a game. That's the only shot Milwaukee has, because you're not going to get a 30-point Kuzma game. Brook Lopez is, he is what he is at this point. Hopefully he can hit a couple of spot threes for you, still protect the rim. Like, they got a 28 and 12 game from Bobby Portis, and it was never really close. I just think Milwaukee is in tough shape, and I don't know what their path is moving forward. I saw the New York Post was deep in their bag already. They had something on their site in their paper yesterday being like, I don't know if you know this, but Giannis actually has a lot of real estate in New York. And I don't know if you've checked the Brooklyn Nets and what their stuff is, but Giannis could very well be a Brooklyn Net this time next year. Brooklyn does have a ton of cap space. Listen, if Giannis, you can't come to Brooklyn, man. I would love that. I would love for you to be closer. I would love for Barclays to have some juice outside of the New York Liberty because right now that is the saddest arena in sports. But I can't imagine Giannis being like me, D'Angelo Russell, Nick Claxton. Let's go. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I would like to see Milwaukee to have a little bit more fight there at home, but I just don't. Again, this Indiana team. Aggressive, BE, aggressive. Let's look at some spicy P last night. People were concerned about his elbow. How healthy is Pascal Siakam? He's a 24-11 healthy. This is the second game in a row. He's put up nice numbers. Also had 3 steals, 2 for 5 from 3, 24 points on 16 shots, man. Efficiency. All 5 started. Like, you want to compare what the Bucks were doing to what the Pacers were doing. You got all 5 starters in double figures here. You also had Benny Math off the bench give you 14. Hallie ended up with 21 and 12. Still not the best 3-point shooting night, but he was a little bit more effective on the offensive end compared to game 1. Nembhard continues to run around like a psycho. He had 17 and 6. Turner had 15. Neesmith had 16. This team's just legit. Regulators said the less physical players always seem to make the most overrated players. Wonder if it's just a manly man kind of thing. Oh, do we have to have a toxic masculinity conversation this early in the morning? I don't know if I'm prepped for that. But I'm here for it. I am here for it. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe Dr. Zakarian. We'll do a sponsored Better Health show or something. Which just reminds me, I forgot I made a Better Health joke last night to a group of strangers, and it did not land. And now I'm going to be thinking about that for the rest of the day. Anyways, all right. So Pacers now go up 2-0. They head to Milwaukee, and I don't see a path forward. I mean, I'm sure Milwaukee puts up a fight in game 3. That is going to be a do or die game in all honesty. And if they are able to steal game 3, then all of a sudden the pressure gets put back on Indiana to not go back home 2-2 and spoil what their home court advantage was. So we'll see what happens on game 3. I believe they're also on Friday, right? Do we get the same slate of games on Friday? Yeah, they are banned to NBA TV. NBA TV on Friday, which I think they were on NBA TV last night. Regular, I don't even remember. It's like I was hosting trivia, and I just basically, I forget what it was. I forget how I phrased it. Honestly, I was just talking too fast, I think, so it didn't land. But they looked like they were upset here for a second. Like, did you just tell us to go to therapy? And I was like, yeah, I did. But I forget what it was. I don't know. It was not my best work, I don't think. Although I thought it was funny. I did make a joke. Well, we'll save it. I forgot I made that joke. Anyways, all right, let's keep going. So that was the second game of the night. Pacers up 2-0. We'll see them on Friday night. Memphis should go home. We don't need to watch this anymore. All right. I think if you lose by 50, we skip games 2 and 3, and it's game 4. All right. And you have to win that one or the series is over. This was it's just ugly stuff, man. The OKC defense is swarming. They're too much. They're too strong. Like, they've just got too many guys, man. Like, Alex Caruso had a game last night, and like, we haven't said Caruso's name probably in 3 months on this show. And then last night just absolutely is a menace. Off the bench in 22 minutes, knocks down 3 threes, has 4 boards, 3 dimes, 3 steals, finishes the game a team high plus 18. He had 13 points as well. Chet Holmgren, the same line, I think. Oh, no, I think he had 19 and 11 in game 1 in 19 minutes. In game 2 in 33 minutes, he had 20 points and 11 boards. He also had 5 blocks, so continue to bet that block over that we mentioned. J-Dub was great. He was 10 for 19 from the field. He had 24 and 6. SGA did SGA stuff. Still, that's 2 consecutive games of not shooting the ball well, but did finish with 27. Only got to the line 4 times, so 2 things that we need to address by that. Yes, the whistle gets tighter in the playoffs, and maybe he's not going to be the free throw merchant you guys like to say, but also he still scored 27 points without going to the line. SGA pretty good at basketball. The Thunder are going to be so well rested for round 2. The Clippers and Nuggets, right? They play again tomorrow night for game 3. That series is going long. That's probably at least 6, maybe 7, right? and the Thunder are going to have a full-ass week off because they play Friday, and then I think they play a Sunday or Monday, and then they're just going to chill until the following weekend because Memphis is dead, man. Memphis is dead. The Ja Morant's quotes from that interview with Malika Andrews from a couple of years ago being like, I'm not worried about anybody in the West is going around. I mean, listen, Marvin Bagley played minutes last night. That's all you need to know about this team. Triple J was team high minus 20. However, he did score 26 points. At least he was a little bit more aggressive offensively. Excuse me. Ja finished with 23 and 6. I love that he played 40 minutes when this game was never really close. Desmond Bane had a double-double, 19 and 12. So at least they put up a little bit more of a fight. Like they didn't lose by 105 like they did in game one. But still, man, it's just tough. Who benefits from a long series in Clips Nugs? Not sure. Who? The Oklahoma City Thunder. That's who benefits. Do you mean between those teams? Nobody benefits in that one. Oh my God, this is like the dorkiest take, guys. These are the dorkiest takes. I was watching. There's somebody. I'm not going to name names. And you know what? Your name is Generational Hater, so you can do whatever you want. But I'm not going to name names. But there's somebody that covers the Lakers for major news outlets, major like media outlets, and they cover the Lakers. Like that is the team that they follow along. And yet they like hate watch some of the other teams. And like, listen, I know when you are covering a team, like you're like, okay, Brian Scalabrine, when he talks about the Celtics, of course, he's going to be like, the Celtics are the best team in the history of sports, right? Like you have to be almost a caricature for your own team. I get that. But I do think it would be weird if Scalabrine was watching the Cavs Heat game 2 tonight and was just out there being like, Donovan Mitchell is the most overrated basketball player I've ever seen. And there's somebody that just continues to pop up on my feed. Again, like an actual person who covers the game and is just like shitting on Denver consistently. And I just think it's the weirdest thing. I think it's the weirdest thing. Sorry for that tangent. I just think that's bizarre. Anyways, OKC just cooking. This will be in 4. I don't think they have a shot in hell. Memphis, I think the biggest question this offseason is how does Memphis move forward? This core is not as like young and fun and exciting as we once thought it was, right? Ja Morant, I think at times we're like, is he an MVP type candidate? And I think the answer is no. The answer is no. And if that is the case, if he is your best player, how high can your ceiling be? And like, I think I'm a big fan of Ja's game. I know everybody in the chat hates Jaren Jackson Jr. I really like Jaren Jackson Jr. And I love Desmond Bane. I think Desmond Bane is awesome. Just like one of the quickest triggers outside of Ja Morant. LOL. Wait, no, of course he flops at sometimes, Generational Hater. But everybody, this entire league is flopping. Did you watch what Jalen Brunson did? Luka complains after every single play. Fred VanVleet like jumps around a lot. Dennis Schroeder looked like he got hit by a sniper in that game, the way that he fell after Campaign nudged him. This entire league does it. So I just think when people are like, oh, I don't like the way he's just, you know why it looks like he's flopping a little bit more? Because he has no muscle mass. Everything is flopping and flapping, and he's 7 feet tall. So it sticks out a little bit more. I don't know what Memphis does moving forward. I really don't. And like they have seemed to be a front office that has been incredible at finding talent. Jalen Wells, top 3 rookie of the year candidate. Well, I guess he fell out of the top 3, but was up there. And their best on-ball defender now with a broken wrist. They find him in the second round. Scottie Pippen Jr. has been passed around from team to team, right? Former Laker great Scottie Pippen Jr. is now like the reason Tyus Jones isn't on the team anymore, right? Santi Aldama, another one. They're just Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams. Like they're really good. Desmond Bane was the second round pick, right? Or like in the 30s. They're really good at finding these talent. But I think if Ja's your best player, you don't have it. He doesn't play enough games. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know what they do this offseason. I think Memphis and Milwaukee are 2 teams that I think are going to be very interesting this offseason, how they approach it. I don't think they have to like rip the Band-Aid off and be like, okay, we're toast. We're never going to do this again. But I wouldn't be surprised, right? Because stuff's starting to get expensive. All right, dude, Generational Hater. What are we doing here? What are we doing? I don't want to have to go back down to the better help route, but like, listen, man, it's early in the day, right? Start your day off right. How about generational lover? You know, why don't you do something nice for somebody around you? Say a compliment. Say a compliment to somebody. Just try to change your day. Choose your attitude. All right. Choose your attitude. Fake it till you fucking make it. All right, baby. Let's get caught up on the chat before we pivot. People on Pistons were talking about trying to get Triple J. So I was looking at Basketball Reference page this morning, 5.6 rebounds. Well, Matty Harrison, let's get you in a group chat with Top Shot Common, man, so you guys can both hate on that at the same time. And you think Triple J needs to play with the stretch five? Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. No, I don't get offended. I just think you should choose love this morning. Choose love. You think this is offensive? I'm telling you to choose love, choose hope. In these dark times, societally speaking, you have the opportunity to put your foot down and say, hey, today is going to be a good day. Let's take a mental health check before we talk about tonight's action, shall we? This has been ASMR with Mike Zakarian.
We can't go down this road. We can't talk about like how you need to have had sex in order to have responsibility. I just think it changes you, you know? I think it changes you.
What a pivot. Holy smokes. Kelly Quinn's in the chat. What's up, KQ? I can't figure out what time it is in France, but bonjour. Okay, so we got tonight's action. The Boston Celtics, I don't know if you guys saw this report. Jason Tatum, after KCP grabbed his elbow right around here, knocked him down, all of a sudden gets an X-ray. If you guys didn't see this, the quote, by the way, Jason Tatum's mom after, we got a Bandy sighting. Hell yeah. Jason Tatum's mom after the game. You see Tatum going in to get the X-ray, and his mom says, do you want me to go into the Orlando locker room? I love that. My mom said, I'll pray for the Orlando locker room. That's how she would have handled this. But let's go. Oh, run it back, Philly. Let's go, man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Look, see this. Everybody's choosing love, generational hater. Anyways, Tatum now doubtful. Tatum's never missed a playoff game. That is a stat I did not know. Has never missed a playoff game. And it looks like he's doubtful for tonight. So that's bad news for the Celtics. I do think I saw some Twitter doctors those are my only doctors, came out and said that they used a bunch of scientific terms, but basically said this is a pain tolerance thing and usually like 2 days recovery time. So Celtics don't play game 3 until Saturday. It kind of seems like they're just giving them a little bit of rest here so that they can, they're like, listen, it's Orlando. We're at home. I'd rather have them for game 3. I think this will test Jaylen Brown's knees a little bit. I'm curious to see how that weighs in on things. The other Celtics news here before we get into game 2 tonight, Peyton Pritchard, kid, 6th man of the year. Let me pull up some stats that Underdog NBA shared after he was awarded this award. What are we doing? But Peyton Pritchard, look at some of these stats here as he collects the 6th man of the year. Let's zoom in, enhance. 246 3-point makes this season. Holy crap. Alan, well done, Alan. 1,079 points. He had 23 different 20-point games this season. He had that 140-point game. And then look at that Jokic plus minus over there. 482 plus minus. One of the things that I thought was so funny about this award, if you guys listen to the Bill Simmons podcast, he, rock hard Boston Celtics fan so much that he put his hard-earned cash into an HBO documentary about the Boston Celtics. He actually voted for Malik Beasley. And so I was wondering, I was like, oh, maybe I got this wrong. Maybe this is going to be a little bit closer than I thought it was. Let me see if Underdog tweeted it out, if they have this here. They don't. But it was not that close. I think Peyton got all but 13 first-place votes. Malik Beasley was second with 13 first place votes. So shout out Peyton Pritchard. I thought that was well deserved. The timing of it's fun, especially if Jason Tatum's not playing tonight, because Peyton's going to have to do a little bit more. Derek White was fresh off that 30-point game. Be curious to see how he responds with a little bit more of an offensive responsibility. But again, it's Orlando. Franz and Paolo are going to combine for 55 points, but it's going to like Jonathan Isaac can't be their second leading scorer with 7 points tonight. So that's Orlando's only shot. Let's see what else we got tonight. We have the second game of Cavs Heat. Shout out Stan Loves. Cavs are favored by 11.5 in this game. So that's fun. Celtics, even with Tatum doubtful, are favored by 10.5. See, this is why the East Coast sucks. We should all move to maybe not California. I don't know if I've got LA energy in me, but I could do a year in the Pacific Northwest. Or if you're nervous about healthcare, we could just go across the border, go to Vancouver. And then we've got Golden State. What is happening with the zooming in here? Golden State against Houston. Houston favored in this game by 3.5. Thought that was kind of interesting. This is the second time. I don't know if you were paying attention to the lines last night, but the Lakers, after dropping game 1 at home, were 5.5-point favorites heading into game 2. You get the same thing with Houston tonight. I am very interested to see if we see the first half of Houston or the second half of Houston. Are they going to be able to muck up the defensive end from start to finish like they did in that second half? Because if that is the case, and if Jalen Green does anything, or if Fred VanVleet hits anything, then I think Houston's going to win this game. So I said Houston was going to win, I think, in 7. So I win the game. So I think I'm going to take Celtics. We're going to go Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Boston Celtics win, Cavs win, and the Houston Rockets win. That is the direction that I'm leaning tonight. I'll be, again, fascinated to see how the Celtics handle Tatum. And then, who is the guy that steps up in the most in this rotation? Are we seeing, good God, is that Torrey Craig minutes? Will Megan Thee Stallion be there? Also, will Angel... Oh, Boston, yeah. We went over this with game 1. I need the celebrity row to step the fuck up. Okay, it can't be Congresswoman Catherine, whatever it was. It can't be, no disrespect to Catherine. I don't know your politics. I don't even know your last name. I wanted to say Miller, but I don't think that's right. I also could see somebody at my door right now through the reflection. Let's see if we're getting robbed. Nope, just a TJ Maxx tote bag. Angel Reese was, Angel Reese is a celebrity before this gets clipped, but not a Celtics celebrity. She's there for Wendell Carter Jr. Also, Wendell Carter Jr. was unfamiliar with your game. We had Keon Wright, who I don't know who that is, but he's on the Patriots, and Bradley Chubb, not even the best Chubb. Pause. That's not what I meant. I meant Nick Chubb and Bradley Chubb. I didn't mean Chubb. It's too early for that. We need to take another mental health break here. Well, let's do this one. I'm sorry this didn't come with a hand job. I just don't think it's included in the airdrops. It's stylistically, that's tough to include that in an airdrop. I was just so young and fresh then, It was a fresh look. All right, so that's tonight's action. And then tomorrow, what do we got? Tomorrow we got the one that I'm most excited about, New York and Detroit. OKC, Memphis. Wow, it's a quick turnaround for game 3, and then Denver, LA. So there we go. Oh, the Celtics play Friday. I kept saying they were playing Saturday. That's my bad. I forgot we have quick turnovers between games 2 and games 3. So there you go. That's what we got. Let's take a look at some of that stuff on The Athletic about the senior superlatives that they did. Again, I still can't believe that's what we're doing. These anonymous polls. I think that's hilarious. They should put their name on it. Let's not do anonymous. Put your name on it. Wait, what do you mean? I'm not ignoring the generational hater. Okay, hold on. Be honest with me. Generational hater, be honest. Did you pause the show and then just come back to go back to it? Or is it like a katana that went into your brain and you just can't move on? You can move on. Yeah, of course he flops. I agreed with you that he flops. So does the rest. This is the NBA of flopping. Sengun. Is that a Houston Rocket photo you got? Sengun, generational flopper. All right. Maybe it's an Eastern European thing. Maybe we need to talk Eastern European politics. Wonder what impression these clips gives to our new viewers. Well, I hope they know that it just means we have range and that I used to have a mustache. All right, let's go. Let me zoom in a little bit. Enhance. And let's look at some of these polls here. Let's start at the beginning. All right, let's see. 5 years from now, who will be the face of the league? Over half of the votes for Victor Wembanyama, followed by Ant-Man, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Yes, Santa Doom. Cade, all right. Hey, Detroit basketball, Cade Cunningham got 2% of the vote. You made the list. I don't really care about that one. Let's go. Who is the league's most overrated player? 90 people voted on this. Halliburton getting 14% of the vote. Some more French hate. Rudy Gobert got 10%. Trae Young up there with just under 9%. Jimmy Butler. How many voters are from Miami? Be honest. How many voters are from Miami? Jimmy Butler with 5 points there. Yeah, it was Top Shot. Cade Cunningham, the only ethical hooper. Love that take. We've got Joel Embiid's in there. I think that's not fair. Joel Embiid's been hurt. I don't know if he's overrated. Bradley Beal, 4% of the vote. Dylan Brooks just must be happy to still be being thought about, you know? Also, people voting for Giannis are crazy. You know who didn't make this list? Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum didn't make this list. Celtics at 4. Let's see what else we got here. Who's the league's most underrated player? Cade Cunningham, 8.8%. That's actually pretty impressive, I think, because Cade was awesome this year from like start to finish. So people still thinking that he is underrated. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Derek White here, 7.5. He was second. Then Norman Powell. Shout out our guy Storm and Norman Powell. AR-15, Austin Reeves. Drew Hot, and then it's just whatever. Drew, Triple J, Dort Report, Trey Murphy, all that stuff. Speaking of Dort Report, let's go. Let's do another video. Let's do a little Dort Report drop. Haven't done that in a while, so a little bit louder, so prepare yourself. Hell yeah, that's a banger. That's a banger. Surprise Chandler Parsons did not get votes still. I mean, he should. He should. Also, Denny Avdia should have gotten more votes. 1.5% for what Denny did this year. Disrespectful. Disrespectful. There you go. We got Tatum down here. Let's see. What else do we got? What is the league's best organization? Golden State Warriors still overwhelmingly 21.9%. You know who didn't get to vote in that? Probably Jonathan Kuminga. Also, I can't tell you, we lost so many viewers when we played the Dort Report video, but respect. Okay, the OKC Thunder, they're second, Celtics third. That makes sense. Clippers, how about the Clippers, man? Steve Ballmer getting them a new arena, their own place. They built the wall. Imagine people thinking the Clippers, man. That's crazy. If somebody told you that 10 years ago, you'd be like, put down the pipe. Miami Heat are up there, Lakers, Spurs, Suns down there. Let's go. Suns 1.5 is hilarious. That was Matt Ishbia voting for himself. League's worst org. Shout out Regulator and Matic Auto, Buzz City Bitches, the Charlotte Hornets, overwhelming favorites. Washington Wizards right now, they're up and next. Pelicans should have been one, in my opinion. Sacramento Kings is hilarious that it's this high. Shout out Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan trades. 76ers up there. Mavs should have been way up there. Maybe they voted earlier in the season. What else you got? Aside from your own current coach, who's the best in the league? Dagnall. There we go. Some Dagnall love. Kenny Atkinson, Spoelstra, Joe Mazzulla, Ty Lue, Steve Kerr. This makes sense. I like that there was nothing dumb in here. JJ Redick getting 2.7. Also, Michael Malone got 2% of the vote, and your boy is fired. No longer a coach. That's incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Love that. Love that shit. Anything else we got aside from your own coach? Who is the worst coach in the league? Brian Keefe up there. That's the Wizards, right? That's not fair. Boonholzer, Doc Rivers, Charles Lee. Wow, the Charles Lee hate. Nick Nurse, Tom Thibodeau getting 7% is hilarious. Let's keep going here. Which player in the league would you least like to fight? James Johnson, Beef Stew, Steven Adams, Dort, Duran. Shout out Duran. I was surprised to see Duran make this list. Zion just seems funny. Brooke Lopez was not familiar with your game. That was a fun one. That's the only one that I like. Is the 3-point revolution age? Are analytics good or bad for the game? Everybody said bad. All right. Everybody said bad, or most people said bad. What else? Do you like Adam Silver's idea of changing to 10-minute quarters? Everybody said no. I didn't even know that was on the table. Anything else? With the league allowing more physicality on the defensive end. All right. This is getting too. This is too in the weeds. I just want the dirt. Ooh, are the NBA's gambling partnerships good or bad for the league? 46% said bad. Jonte Porter, how did you weigh in, sir? Would you be in favor for shortening the regular season if it meant your salary would be smaller? Yeah, no shit. Would you like to make less money? And everybody said no. Yeah, of course. And that's it. That'll do it for the poll. Again, I'm really surprised by the Tyrese Halliburton overrated. I think Hallie's good, man. Anything else we need to get into today? Just a reminder, 3:00, we're over on our fantasy channel. doing a little breakdown for tonight and tomorrow's SORARE NBA contest. I saw our guy Alan in the chat saying that he took down a W. Alan said NBA players have to be the worst athletes in the world. Can't even run. No. Yeah, but it's different types of running, Alan. Alan, that's some real Bosnian shit in the chat from you. You're just saying it because you love soccer the most. You love football the most. But listen, that's a different type of running, man. That's a different type of running. You know? I'm not saying they're not athletes, but it's a different game. And it's like comparing apples to dogs. Anyways, what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So 3 p.m., we'll break down tonight's slate and tomorrow's slate. We also have tomorrow, the NBA Bits back at 9. We do it. If it's you're new here, thanks for hanging out. We do it Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And then we've got some fantasy content over on the Elite Fantasy Sports channel. We'll have some SORARE MLB stuff tomorrow as well. Hopefully the 89 Cavs at some point this week, but I know Justin and Steve are busy. They got a big-ass show this weekend, which if you're in New York City, go check it out. Matt Agato asked for Karen Reed retrial takes. I don't have any takes right now. I'm not super read up on it. I don't know what's happening in the retrial, but I know my brother's probably got some takes, so I'll check in with him and I'll report back. Also, yeah, if you guys are messing around on Splash Sports, we've got 2 contests tonight that we're running. We're doing our normal $5 one, and then we've got our fun wild $5 one, and then the single entry stubs tournament. So there you go. If you're new to Splash Sports, let me refer a friend. I'll copy the referral link, drop that into the chat. Wait, Jokic would never be an MVP Ballon d'Or winner. Yeah, no shit, Alan. But Cristiano Ronaldo also wouldn't win the MVP 3 out of 4 times. What are we doing? What are we doing, Alan? Mike Tyson also won't hit a home run. Oh, man. No, he wouldn't. Got a better chance of. No, we're not gonna go. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go into allegations right now, especially Shannon Sharp. Jesus, what is going on? But I think that's it, gang. Do you guys have anything else for me? Did we miss anything? Was there any other spicy NBA news? I know we talked about it a little bit. Happy Dame is. I'm happy Dame is healthy. I think that is really good. That is really good. YouTube user says I love Ember mugs, but my charging base always breaks. YouTube user, this is a great comment. I don't know why we're talking about this. I created like a shop my link or whatever the hell it's called. So you like if you want to buy stuff that I use for the NBA bit, but the Ember mug is one of them. And you know what I started doing? I started moving. I like the charging base over. It's no longer I move it closer to the. This isn't answering your question, by the way, but instead I like keep it over on my desk instead of over by where the coffee machine is. Nah, I don't know why I do that. Maybe because I'm always afraid it's gonna the battery's dying out. Yeah, it still works. I haven't had to replace it, and I think that was a part of our registry. I think that's literally the only thing I added to our registry. Which is probably the most stereotypical dude thing. Oh, yeah, I didn't look at the registry. I did. I'm just not good at picking out stuff. But I put an Ember there. Why slow cook your coffee? Just drink it? What? Well, yeah, but if you have multiple cups of coffee, I don't want to because you make a pot of coffee instead of just making an individual cup every time. Manicato, you've been hitting the pipe too hard, too early this morning. # smoke some. All right. I think that's it, guys. I think that's it. I'm excited for more basketball tonight. I don't know if Sneeps is going to be firing up playback, but if you want to watch some playoff action, fire up some playback. I'll be back on playback tomorrow night. Can't do it tonight because your boy be working. And then, NBA bit tomorrow morning. Make sure you're. Oh, and we're also doing that Celtics Daily Show. Yeah. We created. Stubbs. I know. Listen, I'm just trying to be more open to suggestions on ways to make money here. We've got an old man hoops. I'll have that ready for tomorrow. Can't drink coffee and talk at the same time. Also, great point. Great point by Regulator. You guys are making some really good points in the chat. And more importantly, I hope Generational Hater's doing okay. I feel like you thought that I was coming on too aggressively, but it was out of love. It was out of love. It was. All right, guys. I'm going to try to do some athletic activities now. We're going to get the heart rate up. We're going to get some exercise in. No OnlyFans joke. All right, I'll leave you with the joke that I did say, though, last night. And I said it too loud. All right, so we were, OnlyFans win. Kelly Quinn's still here. I love Kelly. You guys don't know this? Kelly Quinn, one of the most funny, talented people in the world. Last night, I was waiting to get a drink, and the keg had kicked, and there was a glass that was just like 85% head, right? And I just was like, it's like, that beer's got enough head to open up an OnlyFans account or something like that. It was just, but I said it too loud, and it should have been just like an inside thing for me. And I said it, and I was trying to tell like the person that works there that I'm friendly with, where I was like, this is a funny thing. And I said it too loud. And this place is in like Midtown, and it's not really that kind of energy. So some older people were I thought it crushed. And I would have liked to have paid $4.99 for that beer, like it was an OnlyFans account than what it was. But I don't know. That's where we landed. And I think that's as a good of place as any to end for today's show. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Hope you today. Hope you have a nice little Wednesday. Again, Elite Fantasy Sports at 3 p.m. Otherwise, we will see you same bat time, same bat channel. Go Rockets. Let's get a Rocket stub and a Tatum healthy wrist. Can we? We out.